But Steve Harvey, that experience you did this year, that was the first year back.
No, we just did Showtime at the Apollo in last June.
Gotcha.
We taped last June. I couldn't tell anyone I won for almost a year. That was gut wrenching because the disclosure, the monies, I can't get paid if I say anything. So I couldn't say anything. It was people around me, you know, that obviously, but just knowing that, but just I knew how Steve felt about me. His manager grabbed me when I came off the stage. We have to get all of your information. We got to stay in contact with you. Steve's son is over his production team. His son got all of my information. They could not touch me till this, like everything was so held up on this moment when it aired. Everything was like my check, everything was teetering on the airing of the show. So that was that anticipation of that, not just for people to know who I am. Like I could say I was on Showtime at the Apollo. I could not say I won. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So people like, yeah, Keita was on Showtime at the Apollo. When people seen I won, I'm going to go back. I was initially on Heart of the City. That's why I invited Mario. Mario was on Heart of the City with me. That's my brother. Heart of the City is a show that Kevin Hart just started up a couple of years back to highlight amateur comedians. You could not have any TV time before this debut, and he picked the best in the city. He called people that were here that were top comedians and asked, who you think I should put on the show? My name came up 5 times. But Rodney Perry called me and said, Keita, I'm going to get you on the show. I said, okay, but I was working a regular 9 to 5. I'm typing. I can't even work that day because I'm going to find out whether or not I'm on Heart of the City. Rodney said they loved you, but your tape, they're not feeling it. It's too clean. I sit in a gospel show. I started out with gospel comedy. So I sit in a gospel tape, and they were like, we don't know if she's TV. You know what I'm saying? You can be kind of on the edge with TV instead of being gospel, like totally clean. And they didn't know if I could be club clean. That's a whole difference. And so Rodney said, no, she's able to do it. Y'all need to give her a chance. The tape is not doing her justice. He was fighting for me. So when I got off work, I couldn't even get in my car. I called Rodney like, what did they say? And Rodney's like, Keita, well, you didn't get it. I said, huh? He said, no. You didn't get it. He said, but it's cool. Your name came up so much that you're buzzing. So please take that. That in itself is a major thing. And I said, oh, okay. And I tried to hold it together. I don't want to ever be soft, but I am. And I held it together till I got off the phone with Rodney. And the first person I called is Ish. And I called him crying. And I was like, Ish, I didn't get it. And he was like, what, sis? I said, man, they didn't let me get on Heart of the City. I came so close and did not get it. I said, this shit hurt. And Foolish said, man, Keita, Kevin Hart. He said, and anybody with him, because you the best. He said, if it ain't through this path, then it's through another path. But we gonna make it. He was like, this ain't gonna stop us. We gonna keep going. You hear me? He was like, sis, hold your head up high. You do this. He said, they talking about you. That's it. He said, we gonna make it. I felt so powerful in that sentence. I was felt like my tears immediately dried up. I'm on the phone, it buzzed. I said, let me click over. I got a call. Kevin Hart people called and said, Keita, you got the show. And I was like, oh my God. And they got all my information. But I called Rodney and I said, Rodney, I got the show. Rodney said, I know. I couldn't tell you. It was so amazing.
And disclaimer, that wasn't disrespect to like Kevin Hart, because we both love Kev.
Yeah.
But it was just, man don't validate who you are. You know, you got people around the round table picking talent for that's going to be broadcast around the world. I don't think it's fair. But as a friend, as a best friend, I got to let her know. And I wasn't just saying these words for encouragement. I was saying it because they were real. Because if she wasn't ready, I'd be like, no, sis, she wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? But I knew she was ready, and it was only a matter of time.
I feel like with to touch back on the Steve situation, because I'm sure Kevin is very motivational, and he has a lot of good advice. What was the conversations have been like with Steve? I feel like there was some honest conversations about transcending growth, because that's what he puts out there.
I'm about to tell you, it was moving. What happened is Steve said, he said he got me. Those were the words he said to me. He said, "You got it, girl." And when y'all didn't, in the tape, they edited out for TV purposes, but I could hear Steve out talking about me. Steve talked about me for another at least 20 minutes about how funny I was, how he had never heard he said, "I've heard a lot of Jehovah's Witness jokes. I've never heard anything that funny. That girl is going to make it." And Steve said this. He said she got to take that red out of her hair. He said, because that is going to hold her back. But as soon, he said, she going to be on the top. And he said all this to the crowd after I got off stage. So I'm just like wrapped up in the moment, the stage, the Apollo stage, the history, the log, like everything is just hitting me. And to have him say those powerful words. But the first thing Steve did was he brought me onto his show. I was also on the Steve Harvey show. So I came out. Steve's face lit up when he got me out there. The interview was on point. All the questions, how I responded, how he responded to me, everything flowed so beautifully. But after it went down, most people, they play music in between those takes, and the people just go off stage. Steve and I still sit here talking. The music started playing. Steve said, "Shut that shit off. I'm talking to her." And I was like, oh my God. He said, "Sweet baby Keita, you got it." He said, "You're going to be somewhere." He said, "You're going to take Monique's spot." And I said, "I don't want to take anyone's spot. I'm going to make my own lane." He said, "It's not her spot. It's open. There's an open spot for a female to rise to the top." And I know, he said, "It's some females that are good, but you're going to get that spot." He said, "I know in 3 years, I'm going to see you and you're going to be telling me a whole different story." He said, "So come back to my show in 3 years and tell me what I told you." And I'm almost about to cry. Steve is still speaking into me. Steve got up with me and walked me off the stage. He met my assistant, Jade Baker, who called you, and my cousin who came with me. And he was so nice to us. We were just treated like royalty at Steve's show.